Okay, so I think one thing that really gets people on this is the notation. So f plus g of -5 is the same thing as f of -5 plus g of -5. So all we're doing is chunking this -5 into both of these and then finding that result. The reason there's two different notations is we could add these first, which if just looking at that, negative x plus x is going to cancel, so I should get -4 here when I do this out. But we can also do it where we just plug in the value, figure out what these two numbers are, and add them together. So even though the math is a little bit easier, I think, if I had done it this way, I think this is the more intuitive way. So let me show that. Plus it will work better if it was like multiplication or division. So f of -5, so f of x is -x minus 6. That little negative in front often gets people as well. Oops, I'm on the eraser. Let me get to draw. There we go. So negative of -5. And I'm just going to throw brackets around this for the moment just to kind of show which piece was f and which piece was g. Minus 6. So there I am doing f of -5, and I'm going to add to that g of -5. So this would be -5 plus 2. And I'll just make these in two separate numbers. I'll find the f, I'll find the g, and then I'll add them together. So negative of -5 would be 5, and then minus 6 would make a -1 right there. And that's a really easy spot to get like a -11 or something. And then we're going to add to that -5 plus 2 would be -3. And so -1 plus -3, and there's the -4. I was saying that we could kind of expect, because if I think of it this way, it would have been -x minus 6 plus x minus 2. Those cancel, and it comes out -4 no matter what value we plug in there. It's always going to be -4. So again, there's a couple of ways of getting there. This don't count on that to be that easy all the time. This is the far better version to get your brain around so that you can do it consistently for any problem. And I think rather than make a separate video, let me just pop over here and then grab that other one. Yeah, because this totally goes with that. So this is actually a great example to do right here with this one. In this one, it really is easier if you add them together. And for the addition and subtraction, that's generally the case. If you combine the equations first, you get a little bit easier math than if you plug in the numbers. That said, for multiplication, it's so much more work. You'd have to FOIL all this mess out and get this really big thing. So for this one, it's way easier to do it this way. So for this, I'm not even going to show that. But let me show the other. Just clear this. So here we would have, we're going f times g evaluated at -5. So first, I'm just going to write out f times g so that anyone watching can kind of keep track of my substitutions. So here's f, and then here's g. And so now this round, instead of doing all this FOILing, combining and stuff, that would just be so much extra work. I'm just going to plug my -5 in right here. So there's this piece is representing f evaluated at -5, and then here's my g evaluated at -5. And then from there, I just have to try to not make a sign error or do something silly, which if this was an exam situation, and let's say right here, like this would be a really easy place to forget those parentheses and get a -25 instead of the +25 that it should be. You know, if this was a 4-point problem, that would be half a point. So when I go, it will mark you totally wrong, but when I go back and grade it, that's the kind of stuff that I fix up the credit on. So just to be aware that little mistakes, I do go back and fix them. They don't end up being where you lose all the points. And let's see, down 5 and down another one would be down 6. And then 25 minus 30 would be -5. Oh, it's going to be 0. Okay, so 25 minus 30, there's -5 plus 5. I was like, I'm going to have to do arithmetic. But no, I'm not, because 0 times 6, or -6, comes out 0. But again, so there's your process. I like the thing where I write this out for myself just because it helps me from copying stuff down poorly. And then just take each of those values and keep working it down until you get to the two numbers you got to multiply together, and you got it. Hopefully that was helpful.